You know, this game does have some mechanics and things it keeps track of that it doesn't ever actually utilize in any way. Like, the average stunt score for races, it records that and everything. I think, and it keeps records for them. I think it could be interesting if the game ever actually, like, set unlock requirements and that sort of thing. Like, hey, get this many points on average in a race or whatever. I think that could be kind of interesting. You never have lab attack to do for any particular purpose. Freeride, now I'm kind of curious. I've never done freeride in a race area, I don't think. I'm actually slightly curious now. If we just got Colonel's Peak and freeride, excuse me a second, not actually doing a, these are only whole star increments. Why is the game stored as a rating out of 10? Huh. But anyways. Excuse me not going for a new race for a second here. I'm just curious. I was curious about Colonel's Peak because it seems like there's stuff here beyond just... Oh yeah, I forgot you could download. Wait, it says this game has online leaderboards and whatnot, but it doesn't do anything to work against hacking? That's very unwise. Anyways. I was wondering if Colonel's Peak had like free ride and whatnot, and since there are actually multiple tracks in this map, supposedly. This is our first time going in free ride in this entire game, by the way. So Colonel's Peak is a whole place you can just explore. And of course you will eventually go out of bounds, and it'll say, hey, stop doing that. Like I go all the way up here, and say, hey, stop. Eventually. Yeah, there you go. But otherwise, man, this is some real vertical stuff here. But otherwise, like, there is stuff to explore here. Maybe I'll include this place on the list of places to just, I don't know, explore in that case. Kind of similar to the big maps. I don't know how long exploring those will take. I don't imagine people will have a ton of patience to sit around just watching me navigate these places. But at the same time, that was basically what me playing Wii Ski and Snowboard was, and people actually kind of like that, so I don't know. But I'm curious if I could, for instance, find the short track from here, or if I could do the short track in freeride and find this place from there. Like, is that a thing one can do? Get up there. Ah, there we go. That's satisfying. See, it's so strange now, you can just do whatever you want in here. And hit trees in very strange ways. Yeah, so I might come back to this later. Or go on this short track and see if I can find like the rest of this world, or see if they're actually completely separate maps. Just a fun little thing. Okay, so what we actually intended to do, we intended to go to Woya here, which I don't think I've ever been to at all, actually. Did I actually go on freeride? That's fine if I did. I can still just go around the course in freeride instead of racing anyone. It's not that big of a difference. I'll still follow the track and everything. But again, this is another similar seeming area where apparently you have multiple courses here, but it's not a whole map you can do freestyle or anything in. Yeah, whoops. Not what I meant to do. Here are crickets. It's substantially less intense not having anybody else here to, you know, race against or anything, but that's still a valid experience to have. It does feel a bit like they kind of just made a smaller place that had a bunch of the same assets as some of the other desert kinds of areas, which I think is what they also did with another place that I just came from whose name is escaping me. You hear the crickets everywhere. Jeez. I don't know, for some reason I just have my head now stuck in that. I guess just as I was reading through stuff in the game's contents at the end of the last episode, I just get myself thinking, oh man, it could be interesting just to, I don't know, pick this game apart a bit more. I don't have any tools to, like, extract any of the data types or anything, but I might do that eventually, because this is, incidentally, this game does use lots of the same data types and whatnot as, for instance, Hot Wheels Stunt Track Challenge or Hot Wheels Road Race. Actually, World Race uses a different archive format, but it does use the same data formats inside of that. Disc Climax had a bunch of their own sorts of formats and whatnot, and they'll just make all of their games out of that same stuff. Actually, I think there are a couple internal teams at Climax, based on the different games I've looked at, that each had their own, for instance, archive format they would use, but they would share some tooling between themselves. From what I can see, I have no word from any of the developers talking about these things to base this off of. It's just by looking at their stuff. But the fact they reused a bunch of stuff is precisely what makes it possible for me to write tooling, for instance, that gets reused across multiple games, which is why, more or less, why I already have a tool that can extract this game's assets, because I made the same thing for Soundtrack Challenge, and this game had a very similar format. This one was just in text instead of in binary format, but the binary format corresponds very closely to the text format. But I haven't made a tool yet to repack everything in the text format instead of the binary format. Although, strictly speaking, now that I think about it, I think I can do something weird where I repack that into a binary format and then extract that back out into text, and it'll have actually worked, and it'll probably save me a lot of work modifying this game. I don't know. Oh well. So, on my reverse engineering show, I might sometime soon get back to working on some Climax stuff and occasionally uploading stuff about that. And people got real excited, a lot more than I expected, about me doing bits of reverse engineering and modding and Soundtrack Challenge, so that's probably a good motivation for doing this stuff. I'm not sure if people think the same about me doing stuff with this game, because I haven't uploaded anything related to this game on that channel yet, but I may put up something where I just at least do silly stuff, like, I don't know, giving vehicles insane stats or something, just because it's fun, just as a proof of concept, so I can say, hey, world, just so you know, like, this stuff has been modified, and so on. We know how to do this now. I never have looked into their texture or model formats, but they reuse them across different games, so could be worth making tools for, so that you can just now you can do that stuff. You can at least extract, if not modify, those sorts of things. Or all the different games these guys have. Okay. Next is Enduro at Colombo. Okay, that'll actually take a little bit of time. Huh, Freeride Enduro sounds very strange. Okay. I actually might take an entire recording session just to get through these last couple races, because some of these are long. In which case, it may be one more recording session that's basically entirely just messing around in the different stages in Freeride, but we'll see. But we are in we're firmly in, ending mode of this series at this point, now that we've actually completed everything I intend to complete in championship mode. Oh, okay, start us a little closer, why don't you? Also, not evenly spaced. So why in the world was this Enduro not in the tournament? I still don't get that. Because stupid trees. These trees give me so much trouble here on Colombo. But really, I would have liked to do this in the tournament. Why'd you just repeat a race instead of this? Look at how you go over the rocks and whatnot. See? All these freestyle maps have fun terrain and set pieces to do stuff with that just is not acknowledged almost anywhere in the game. At most in Enduro. We'll also have to see if Pro Enduro here is any different than Amateur, because I'm not certain whether it is or not. Man, this sand is surprisingly bumpy to drive on. It's such simple haptic feedback, but I'm really still astounded how much effort this game puts into it, how decent a job this game does of providing haptic feedback for this game, driving around on stuff purely by making the controller rumble at varying intensities and whatnot in different situations. I love how the people just like fly off and pass the camera whenever you knock them off their bike like that too. That is entertaining. Flashbacks to Go Vacation again. There were ATV races like this one in very similar decor to this, actually. Worth it. That wasn't worth it. Dang! This game's not very good at respawning you in good places, annoyingly, when you're on enduro specifically, because it uses, as I mentioned before, it uses free ride rules for respawning you, which are not very friendly. Oh, come on! And now I'm gonna respawn at the beginning of this whole jump. That's a totally blind jump. Again, we're not going for first or anything. I might just do 1 or 2 laps or something here. Like, there's so much to this map, it's kind of crazy that the game kind of hides Columbia from you as hard as it does, because probably should have gone through the middle there. That's the thing you need to get over with Enduro. You need to forget that you're normally required to go on roads. Like, you want to be crafty about going between them and everything for Enduro. I might go a little bit further. I don't know if I'll complete another whole lap, but... I'm enjoying my time here, so I might spend a little bit more time on this course. We're just gonna land on this now, I guess. Sometimes you just have to commit. This is where I'm landing now. So weird to me that this is basically apparently considered dirt, really, instead of anything else, because it is sand. Physically, visibly. Whatever. Alright, so question, is the Pro Enduro anything different? Yeah, it's got a different picture. Oh, this one says dirt and sand, actually. Huh. Is there anything that has 5 stars for that? Okay, usually... Okay, anything that's pure sand, this has very low rating for. I don't really know how this game tries to approximate the, tire ratings. But yeah, it seems to imply this is actually a different course, which is awesome. I like the idea of having multiple different enduro courses per course. And there's just so much in these big maps that even with the like 5 races you have in each one to start with, I still feel like they're underutilized a lot of the time. At least compared to the experience I had in them just running around freely. Yeah, here we are. Totally different place. Everyone else just acts dumb and takes the jump. Despite that being very inefficient. That one I probably should have gone left around instead of right. I don't know. Now, I feel like the one developer I've really focused the most on, most of my modding and reverse engineering stuff and all that is just individual games from particular developers, so never get a chance to like get to know a particular developer from like looking over their work. But Climax is the big exception to that. You know, I don't think myself as like being so attached to a large number of their games or anything. It's just I happen to have played a couple other things and reverse engineered a couple other things. And that led to me going, oh, huh, they reused some stuff, so maybe I should actually just try to make tooling that works across multiple things that they made. And that led to me just investigating lots of things that they put out and realizing, oh, hey, they have just some small number of archive formats they've used across a whole bunch of games. They keep reusing these same... Yeah, definitely way worse scoring on the sand here, oh my god. Yeah, these are not sand tires. It's like I just like can't turn when I'm on sand. My god. Yeah, I slide like crazy. It's almost like driving on snow. We could have actually got on the wood there. I don't think it would have actually been practical to do so, but... Alright, so now we're on dirt. Yeah, now I can turn again and whatnot. Yeah, so dirt and grass I'm fine on. Yeah, this is a fun course. Just like going between the islands and whatnot is something I find really, really satisfying. No, yeah, why'd you put me there? I gotta real tight pack this race. I think we're just right at the end of this lap now, because I think we're gonna start to see where we started, right over here, because I think this is the same island. Yeah, there you go. I can gain on everyone here. Cool. I think I'm satisfied with that. Alright though, more enduros. But yeah, I just never felt like I had that so much idea for like the feel of a particular developer from the actual internals of what they make, not from like the outward stuff that they present to you. Which is funny, particularly when it's just not a developer I normally think anything of as someone that I like spend a lot of time with or anything. Anyways, so wetlands is the next one, yeah, for short track. So next time we'll do a couple short tracks, 2 more short tracks. That's actually all there is to do. And then I guess after that we will start. I will play with Enduro Editor a little bit, and then we'll probably get a start on free ride stuff. And that'll bleed over into one more recording session. Probably just one more. Bye everyone.